shall now go on to our next speaker, Dr. R.P. Singh himself, who is again a very proficient cataract refractive. You're also a vitreous retinal surgeon?
I am a vitreous surgeon first.
Okay, vitreous retinal surgeon.
Yeah, but at the same time, I do the cataract as well, and I do the refractive surgery.
Yeah. And who heads the Visitech Eye Center at New Delhi, and we are truly lucky to have him in our ARC webinar. And he is going to show us a very challenging case, and I hope we discuss it threadbare. On to you.
Yeah, thank you, Chitra ma'am, and thank you, RC, for giving this opportunity. This case which presenting is a very interesting case you presented to me. It was referred for me for the management posterior dislocated IOL. When we examined this patient, I found the entire capsule and beautiful rexes and with the complete intact bag. So it took me a while to understand why lens is dislocated posteriorly. On the extreme movement of the eye, I found there's a 90-degree zonular dialysis in the inferior nasal quadrant. So that the lens has dislocated posteriorly. So anyway, we took up this case, but the challenge was how to retrieve this lens to the intact, this complete capsule, and to preserve that. So we did the 25 gauge vitrectomy in this case. The point to remember here, there is nothing to partial vitrectomy or the core vitrectomy. When doing a vitrectomy, we do a complete job. Once it is done, with the end gripping forceps, we pick up the IOL through the haptic. Now, here at this moment, I had a challenge to bring it out. So the way we could do it to eat up the entire capsule and prepare for the SF IOL, that is what I planned initially. But at the table, then I thought, why not to bring it through the dialysis? It was a hydrophilic lens, highly malleable. So I used the handshake technique, which normally we use for the foreign body removal. So that came into play, that experience. So with the handshake technique, we oriented the lens and hold it the lens haptic with the tip from the corner. You can see from here. Please do not blink now, otherwise you'll miss it. So you hold it, then you take out your right hand out. You place vertically the lens through the jonular, take a McPherson, and then gently squeeze it out to the jonular space, the jonular dialysis space. You can see it has taken on that, you can see that dialysis out there. Once it is out, we place it. Then I made a side port. You just leave it here. Just made a side port because the leading haptic is still into the vitreous cavity. So now you made a side port with the left hand. I am actually ambidextrous by surgeon. So I use both my hands, right and left, equally good. So with the left hand, you made a side port. And now with the sense fork, gently you take out the lens to the dialysis part, the leading haptic as well. So now you can see the entire lens is placed into the anterior chamber. Now at this point, the challenge was now again to put it, I decided to put it back into the bag as the bag was completely intact. So we used a CTR ring here, this point. The OVDs were placed constantly so that have no damage to the endothelial cornea. So a 12.5 millimeter CTR ring was used, adult size, and it was placed into the bag so that to stabilize the jonular dialysis part. You can see this placed, and now the bag is completely stable. Now I realize the bag lens which I have retrieved is upside down. It is in the opposite direction. So with the help of the two sense keys, I flipped the lens again to orient it nicely. It was now back. The lens is flipped. Now it is in the right direction to place it. And then the lens was pushed and placed into the bag. Now this is the final position where the lens is nicely placed, and it was a complete suture-less surgery. So the next day patient was very comfortable with the 6/9 vision into this.
Thanks, Dr. R.P. Singh. That was immense acrobatics which you did, and I think it's your ambidextrosity, or is it your being a vitreoretinal surgeon? You could get away with it. But yes, I have some questions now. Was the primary surgery done by you, or the patient came with that?
It is referred for the management
case. do you think that being a vitreoretinal surgeon again, do you think in post-vitrectomized eyes, these small areas of zonular weakness is missed out, chances of IOL dislocation is more in these eyes?
No, no. If you have not extended the journal dialysis further,
Yeah,
then it remains as like a normal eye.
yeah, that should not be an issue.
So at the time of surgery, you should be careful that yes, there are chances of that you may end up creating the more journal dialysis, but
Yeah.
that time you have to be very careful.
The only thing is you brought it through the area of zonular weakness, but when you try to rotate the IOL upside down, you could have had a PCR at that point of time. And maybe because it was hydrophilic lens and was very malleable, you could
See,
get
once it is retained into the anterior chamber and or CTR is placed, so it is like many general dialysis case then.
Yeah, I agree. But I think on hindsight, with that much area of dialysis, already dialysis has had, you think that CTR support was enough? Couldn't you have supported it, done an SFIOL for that case? You know, your headache would
See,
be.
that is what we initially planned. But then we found this general dialysis is as we routinely managed in the normal cases, and the lens bag was pretty stable.
Yeah.
And the taking it out completely, cutting the capsule, then taking it out, then putting this, it was more traumatic.
Yes.
In this case, we have seen that it was the least traumatic to the eye.
Yeah.
We didn't take out, we didn't open the anterior chamber, cornea, no sutures.
I would want 1 point from the expert panel, but just don't repeat yourselves. Just anything you differ from what he's done, and what are your contradictory thoughts to it? Dr. Sandeep? Dr. Purendra Bhasin?
I think we are completely mesmerized by this case.
Yeah.
I won't have the heart to do this case. Maybe just stand next to the veterinary surgeon, let him do what he wants.
Yeah. Yes, true, very true. Even I thought that. And Dr. Purendra Bhasin?
Beautifully managed, but I would prefer because doing a SFIOL by Yamane's technique and retrieval of the IOL, but definitely he has managed it. He could do it because of his expertise, and I think it is not possible in everybody's hand.
Anterior segment.
Yes, anterior segment surgeon. Yes, yes, Dr. Rustagi. And
yeah, anterior segment surgeon has no role in this kind of surgery. So,
yes. Yes, I agree. Totally.
So
agree.
he basically utilized the same IOL, same sitting, and Dr. Singh, there was no CTR. The previous surgeon must have obviously has put this lens in the sulcus. That is why it is dislocated.
That is
previously no CTR has been put, so the previous
there was no
surgeon has put it into the sulcus. No.
In the sulcus, yes.
Yeah.
Had he used had he placed the lens in the bag, I think this would have not have happened.
Yeah.
Or three. He must have used 3-piece IOL in the bag. I think things scenario would have changed.
Yeah, would not have happened. Very true. Very good point brought out.
Actually, on the table, it was looking almost like a complete intact posterior capsule.
Yeah.
If you notice that it was just a 30-degree between 4 to 5 o'clock was the journal dialysis.
Yeah.
And because it was a hydrophobic single piece, it went through. It had been a 3-piece lens, it wouldn't have gone.
Hydrophilic, no?
Hydrophilic.
It was hydrophilic, yeah. Had been it be a single piece hydrophobic, maybe probably it would have gone.
Yeah.
Excellent surgery.
Excellent surgery.